What's up guys, my name is Ryan45678 and welcome back to the Edgerbike project. In this video I'm going to be machining this part, which is going to turn into the steering neck. The steering stem is actually here. This is what I'm calling the neck that's going to go here basically, but the only sizes I could get are too small on the outside for these bearings, these steering stem bearings. So what I'm going to have to do is machine out enough for the distance of the bearing so it can press fit in, and do that on both sides, and that'll be that. So what I've got set up to do this is the lathe. I should be able to check that in pretty good. And this thing, I don't remember the actual name of it. There is a name for it though, but basically you can use it to either cut the outside of something, run it across, or you can, what I'm going to be doing is cutting the inside, so like that. Yeah, I forgot to mention, before we get started for reals, don't forget to leave a like on the video if you do end up enjoying it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more projects like these. And as always, if you want to support the channel, there are affiliate links in the description below. So finally, I'm doing it the right way. Apparently, I mean, I knew you could use these things for facing, as in flattening anything off, which we did. But for actually doing what I'm trying to do, which is this, as you can hopefully see, is a boring bar, and we actually found one. So that's what we did. We're taking off about 10 thousandths each pass, and let's see, not quite. I think we need probably another 10,000, yeah, 10 thousandths. So we'll do that here. Take off about 10 more. I should actually measure before so I know exactly how much I have left, because I do need to smooth it out as well with sandpaper, albeit with the tool, not right there so I don't cut my hand off. Alright, so the outer diameter of the bearing is it's about 1.73, and the hole now should be, measure it really quick, about 0.78. So I want to say we'll give it to 1.7 or 1.1 before we start sanding. I'll tell you what though, I think I'm going to start sanding now. I've only done one more pass, if I remember where I last was when I told you guys how far I needed to go, but as you can see, it almost wants to go. So if I sand those off, I think it will be just enough to be able to press fit the thing. I think what I might do is do one more pass with this thing at the same level, and that way it'll kind of clean it up a little bit before we sand it. Alright, so on inspecting the second pass of that cut, I think I might actually be able to do it now without sanding, because look, it goes in. That's going to be a tight press fit though, so maybe not. We'll go another, tell you what, let's measure it. Alright, so we're about 10 thousandths under right now, so I think if we sand it, we'll be okay. Alright, take that back. You can't sand 10 thousandths, you can sand a couple of thousandths. So I'm going to take it to 1 under, because my dad said that's about what you need for a press fit. It's like maybe 1,000th or half a thousandth, so just under 120. So I'll go ahead and go 9, or at least what's marked 9 on here, and see how much that is, how much closer that is. So unfortunately, it looks like we went a tiny bit over, even though I tried to go under. So it fits in there, but I believe it'll be press fit enough, and it's going to be clamped down anyway, so it's not a huge deal. But we got one side done. So now we go on to the next side. Okay, now I'm going to show you what I didn't show you before, which was facing off this side. It shouldn't need that much because it's already pretty close. So get it. You want to get it to touch. So we'll do that while it's moving. Get it pretty much in line with it so you can touch it. On. There, it's touching now. So we'll go in a little bit. You don't want to go in much at all with this. Slow and consistent. That might have been actually too much. So there we go. You go steady. Yeah, I may have done a little bit too much there. Yeah, I did too much. You saw it smoking. So yeah, that end is basically faced off. And now it'll be flush with the hole that we do for the bearing, just like we did with the other side. Except this time I'll try to be more precise, or more accurate, I guess you could say. So we'll just quickly swap it to the boring bar. Like that. Move it over. Get it about right. Perfect. There. And I'll show you what I was talking about earlier. What you want to do is I put it in a little bit, and you want to get it to touch it, and then use that as your basis for measurement. So it's just touching. So now we'll take, you don't have to put this at 0, just as long as it's increments of 10. You want to pull it out and give it 10 thousandths and go ahead and cut it. Like this. And hold your ears. There we go. That's ugly as heck and vibrating and full of nonsense, but I'll show you my basis for measurement. It's about here, this corner right here, if you can see that. That's approximately the depth I need to go. So yeah, we'll keep going. Measure this first really quick. Man, these parts, the machining parts of this have taken way longer than I anticipated for every single one of them. So we'll get an accurate diameter. Pretty accurate. It doesn't have to be perfect. So we're at, let's see, 1.6 essentially. And where's the bearing piece? Right here. I'm gonna have to be careful and make sure to get all the metal shavings off of this before I put it together, because you don't want that in your bearing. We got about 120, 130 to go. So we'll be here for a while. I'll measure every few cuts, so, but yeah, I'll show you guys when I'm almost done, and then we'll finish it. So I just did a few passes. We're at about 1.7, almost 1. So we got 20 thousandths to go. I'll go 10, and then I'll do 5 this time to make sure I don't go over. Alright, so once again, we managed to go over. I did 10 thousandths when we were at 20 under, and it went 2 or 3 thousandths over, so it fits in there. It'll probably be a good fit. It's obviously it's going to be clamped down like I said before, so it's not a huge deal, but I prefer that it didn't do that. But it's actually, yeah, it's just the steering stem. It's not any high-speed application, so it doesn't have to be press fit, and it might actually be better for maintenance to get to it later if it's not. So we'll have to live with it. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could Teflon tape this. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do with bearings, but I could if I really wanted to get a real good press fit, but it'd probably just tear it because this is so rough. But yeah, we're gonna have to live with that, and the steering stem is now fit for bearings. So I think the last thing I'm gonna do is chamfer this edge a little bit, just so I don't cut myself. So all you have to do that, it's really easy. You just go right up to the edge. Actually, that. Lock it down. And then go in a little bit. Probably go in slightly. And that's probably about right. That's all we really need. So, we're good. Looks ugly as heck, but it'll work. So, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to mount these, but that is our next step, probably in a different video. But we have slots for the bearings, and the reason I say I'm not sure how I'm going to put these on is because I don't know if I can eyeball it with just this piece, or if I'm gonna have to get the forks out and attach it, tack it, and then take the forks off and try it and finish the weld. Because what I'm afraid of, if I don't use the forks, is getting off, obviously, and having them be tilted or something. And the other thing I don't want with the forks is I don't want to melt the bearings or burn them up or something. I don't want to melt the aluminum nearby, but I may do that just for accuracy, although I don't have a way to really lift up the frame to do that. So I may have to just eyeball it, tack it, and then check it, and then finish it once I'm convinced that it's good. So yeah, we'll get to that next time. But for now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy it or find it useful in some way. Subscribe if you want to see more projects, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.